Welcome everybody to my channel. I am Jeremy Crow, and tonight we're going to talk about different forms of divination. So I see we have a few people here already. Claudia, Azaquel, Beyond Zebra, hello. Welcome. As you know, if you've been watching these live streams, I tend to start with a divination. So let's jump right into it. So the first form of divination that we can talk about tonight is bibliomancy. Now, one of the types of bibliomancy is, as you may have guessed, taking a Bible and flipping through it and then reading flipping it into it at random, or opening it on a random page and then reading a passage from it and then interpreting what that means. Now, you don't have to use the Bible. That I just use that as an example because it sounds like it's in the name of the type of divination, bibliomancy, right? But that is because the Latin word Bible basically means book, and bibliomancy means divination via book. So one of the things that I've been doing lately on these live streams, and I've been doing these live streams quite often. I think I've done at least 15 or 16 in the past month or so. I've been trying to do as many of these as I can without burning out. I can't quite do them every night, but I can do it quite often. And I usually do them around this time, around 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want to try and catch more of these live streams, you can either just come back to my channel around 10:30 p.m. Eastern time and see if I'm live. Or the better way to do it is to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell and so that it'll notify you when I do have a live video coming up, or if I am actively live, it'll let you know. So one of the things that I've been doing lately is the bibliomancy with the Tao Te Ching. So this is a classic Taoist text, and it has 81 chapters in it that each have some sort of encapsulated wisdom from Esoteric Taoism. And this is a book that I've been studying and reading a lot lately, and so that's what I've been using for these bibliomancy divinations on my channel here. So we'll do another one tonight. We'll start off with a divination. Okay, I'm going to put the mic down for a second. Let's see what we get. All right, tonight we ended up with chapter 66 in the Tao Te Ching. So, let's see. What do we have here? Chapter 66, Tao Te Ching. I see here, Azaquel said, or even better, join the Patreon and get email updates. That's right. So, if you go to the Patreon for the Novus Ordo Luciferi, the link is in the description of this video. I think it's the first link, unless I've edited it after the fact. If you're watching this after the fact, sometimes I edit the description if there's a more relevant first link. But if you go to the Patreon page and become a follower of the page, you don't even have to sign up to any of the paid tiers. If you become a free follower of the Patreon, you'll get email updates for every time that I'm doing one of these live streams, these public live streams. And you don't need to be a paid member of the Patreon to get those email updates that will tell you about these public live streams. If you do join at the $5 level or above, then you can actually become a member of the Novus Ordo Luciferi, and you'll get access to the secret meeting links that typically follow the public live stream. Tonight we're doing one, and it will be for a formal lesson in money magic. We're going to be doing session number 8 in the money magic series. Now, we've done a bunch of these different lessons. I've taught courses in lucid dreaming and astral projection, tarot, self-hypnosis, a whole bunch of different ones. And at this point, all of the recorded video lessons are probably at least 50 hours worth of video lessons that you get access to if you join the order, and you can join that through the Patreon at the $5 per month tier or above, and you get access to all of those courses. So these are some really in-depth courses that you get access to instantly if you become a member. Now, these are the types of courses that I would typically have charged at least $45 for. And you'll find other practitioners charging, up to $90, $100 and something, $200 for an individual course. You can get access to all of the courses as a member for just $5 a month. So I think it's incredible value. And you'll get updates on when I'm doing these live streams, and you'll get access to the live lessons. We're doing one of them tonight. And sometimes we just do casual hangouts as well. And you'll get access to all of those as well, in addition to all of the written material of the teachings, the practices of Luciferian alchemy, and other perks like you'll get free access to the Luciferian Research Society website. You'll get the new Luciferian era calendar, things like that. So back to the divination. Join the Patreon, even as a free follower. It's highly recommended. And the $5 tier is incredible value. But back to the divination. So we did the bibliomancy for the Tao Te Ching, and we landed on chapter 66. So what do we have here? Why is the sea the king of 100 tributaries? Because everything comes down to it. So it is kingly by this name. So a sage that wants to rule the people must be below them. If he wants to be their leader, he must be behind them. If he has no desire to control, then the people will not feel oppressed. And if he stands before them for their own sake and not his, they will not harm him. Trusted by everyone, no one will tire of him. What is his secret? He never competes. So there is no one else but him. Interesting. Very interesting. So now that is an example. So now you would contemplate the material that you found in that chapter if you were doing a Tao Te Ching bibliomancy divination like I just did. You might want to ask a question before doing the divination and then reflect on how it applies to what you asked. And did anybody feel like that was very relevant to them at all? Oh, True Detective, glad you could make it tonight. Welcome. Yeah, if you found that to be relevant to you, that particular passage, the chapter 66 in the Tao Te Ching, out of 81 chapters, let me know in the chat there. Also, what is your favorite form of divination? If you perform divination, or if you like receiving divinations or anything like that, what is your favorite form? I would have to say my personal favorite form of divination is tarot. It's something that I've been studying and practicing for over 30 years now, and it is deeply connected to my worldview. It's something that, it's a way that I've kind of ordered my mind, almost like the memory palace. of Giordano Bruno, for example. And I encountered the tarot before I started studying it. So as a child, I encountered some images of the tarot, including the Tower card in particular. I felt extremely evocative and even a little scary as a young boy when I saw that image. And it was, I think it was from a Marseille's deck or Marseille's deck. And it just looked really creepy. It almost looked like the people that were falling out of the tower were walking on their hands in a really weird way. And it just burned itself into my mind. And it later on in life, when I actually began to study the tarot in earnest, I found myself highly inspired by the Tower card, and it ended up becoming my favorite card. And to this day, the Tower card is my favorite card. And I even have a stylized version of the Tower tattooed on my back, a giant back piece, my one and only tattoo. It's a huge back piece. It's also connected in my mind to the ziggurat of Enki. That's a system of planetary magic that I developed based on some Babylonian mythology and lodge work and that sort of thing. And it's also a stylized, the tattoo is also a stylized image of that ziggurat or stepped pyramid, which is also connected to the Tower of Babel, if you want to take it to another level as well. So yeah, the tarot is probably the tarot is my personal favorite form of divination. Now, divination is often compared to fortune telling, and that is generally how it's perceived by popular culture. And for all intents and purposes, that is essentially what you're talking about when you're talking about divination. Now, it's not necessarily telling you about the future, where fortune telling implies telling you about your future. Literally, fortune telling means what kind of fortune or what kind of what's your fortune, what lays in wait for you, like your future and what's in store for you. And fortune, of course, being riches as well. What kind of physical or monetary or wealth are you going to come into in the future is what people often want to know about when they consult a fortune teller. But divination can be a lot more than that. It can give you insight into a particular situation, for example. You can even look into the past with divination. Divination is more of deriving information, or I like to think of it as insight into a particular situation that you are asking about or inquiring about. So tarot, to me, goes way beyond just divination, but that is the primary use that it's had for most of its existence. I mean, it initially started out as a game, but as it evolved, it became a way to encode certain mystical and esoteric teachings. And, it's gone on to become a very powerful tool for esoteric practice. And here's one deck, the Crowley Harris deck, also known as the Book of Thoth. And this one, Aleister Crowley gave instructions to Lady Frida Harris, who was the artist of the images on these cards. And let me just show you a few of them here. So personally, the imagery and the colors and everything on these cards I find to be spectacular. And so this is a deck that I like to use, and I've used this deck for quite a long time. Another deck that I like to use is the Hermetic Tarot. And this is based on the esoteric workings of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. On the box it says the Secret Order of the Golden Dawn, but you know, it's the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. And it's by Jeffrey Dowson. And this one, he basically took the teachings about the tarot from the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn and utilized that material in order to create the imagery and the setup for this particular deck. Let me pull it out here and show you a few images. And this is one of my favorite decks as well. I probably use this more often than the Thoth deck, to be honest. Oh, got it upside down. Upside down again somehow. I guess, what am I doing here? Okay. The whole deck is revert. What? I guess I got them mixed up. But usually I have them all aligned properly. Here's the death card, you know. These are all black and white, mostly line drawing images, which I find to be quite intense, and I really enjoy the artwork on this deck in particular as well. Let me see. We have a few comments here. Let me just see what we got here. Phosphine Meditation. True Detective said, I'm not familiar with that one. Is that a form of divination? Azaquel says, I do best with pendulum, automatic writing, and trance. Yeah, those are some excellent forms of divination. Azaquel has a back tattoo with a 5-card reading, and it includes a tower as well. That's pretty cool. It is a full back piece, but needs touch up. Yeah, I got mine quite a while back, but the lines are still pretty solid, and it doesn't really need touching up or anything at this point. Juanita, welcome. Beyond Zebra said, I haven't really tried intentional divination yet. I've been working more on other practices, but I'm interested. Yeah, okay, yeah. We'll talk. Beyond Zebra, we'll talk about that, and we can explore some ideas for you there. Azaquel said, do you believe, as some do with tarot, that you should use decks that you get from others rather than one that you buy yourself? No, I don't buy into that superstition personally. If that's meaningful to you, then absolutely it can enhance your experience, but that's not something that I find meaningful personally. I find it's no big. I haven't found any difference if I personally have sought out and purchased a deck that I enjoy, or if I got one as a gift. And I've had both, and I haven't noticed any particular difference. In my experience, at least, like I said, if it's meaningful for you, then absolutely go ahead and embrace that. And that can add some meaning if it's meaningful to you. But for me, I don't follow that practice personally. Nomad Archer said, hey, I'm the 13th warrior. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Azaquel said they can be inverted as well. Now, when I do my tarot readings, I don't do the reversals. I find that so much meaning is able to be gleaned from the card just as is, without having to utilize the whole reversal as a difference. I actually explore both sides of it anyways. So if we were to do a divination with this deck and it came up reversed, I would still interpret it both in both ways anyway. So it doesn't really matter to me whether a card comes in upside down or not. I don't find any particular significance. I explore everything with that card. And on that note, let's do a 1-card reading from one of these decks. Last time we did a 1-card reading from a tarot deck on one of these live streams. It was the Thoth deck. So let's try one from the Hermetic Tarot. Now, actually, another thing before I draw a card from this, I actually have developed my own tarot system, which is a modification of the standard 78 card deck that you would find. Both the Thoth deck and the Hermetic Tarot are 78 card decks. Now that includes 56 minor arcana cards, which are very similar to like a playing card deck, but with an extra court card for each of the 4 suits. So instead of 52, it's 56, plus a set of dedicated trump cards, and they're often referred to as keys, or I believe in the Thoth deck, the Crowley Harris Thoth deck, they refer to it as atus. But basically they are special cards. There are typically 22 of them, and they break down into the 3 principal elements: water, fire, air, the 7 planets of classical astrology, and the 12 signs of the zodiac, the tropical zodiac, essentially. And I've developed my own version of the tarot, which would be basically it's basically the same for the minor arcana, but I've redone the major arcana. I still have all the same cards. Some of them I've renamed, but I have added 3. So my deck actually has a total of 25 major arcanas for a total of 81 cards in the deck, which happens to be the same number of chapters in the Tao Te Ching, by the way. And it's 1 extra zodiac card for Ophiuchus, and there are 2 extra planet cards, 1 for Uranus and 1 for Neptune. And I have my own special names for each of those. In addition, I've rearranged the entire sequence. So the major arcana cards typically have a number associated with them. In most decks, it goes from either 0 or unnumbered to, and then 1 to 22. Now mine also goes all the way up to 20. There's an unnumbered card, and then it goes from 1 to 24. So there are 25 major arcana cards, and the sequence is different from the standard deck. And when I utilize a physical tarot deck, I typically am using it as a physical proxy for my own internal deck, which I refer to as the New Luciferian Era Tarot. And you can learn more about that if you join the Novus Ordo Luciferi, which you can join if you check out the link in the description to the Patreon. Join at the $5 per month tier or above, and then you can get access to all those teachings, including more detailed information about my New Luciferian Era Tarot. So, like I said, I've internalized the tarot, and when I use a physical deck, it's actually, I utilize it as a physical proxy for my internal deck. And let's see here. There are a few more comments here before I shuffle and pull a card. see anything that relevant here. Oh, Anonymous Boss, welcome. You caught the live stream. Great. And Nomad Archer, number 13, watching at the time. Oh, I see. Cool. Number 13. Great. And in a typical deck of tarot cards, a standard deck, the number 13 card happens to be the death card, which is I showed on the screen earlier from this. It's not the 13th card in my new Luciferian era tarot, but in this deck it is, and that's what I showed earlier on the screen, which is neat. Okay, we have a super chat here as well. Hey Jeremy, have you, from Anonymous Boss. Thank you so much, Anonymous Boss, for supporting the channel with financial contribution there. If you do want to support the channel and you don't, you can do a super chat. If we get enough super chats, I did set a goal. I will reveal the figurine that I utilize on my personal altar to represent Lilith. If we reach that super chat goal, but if you don't have the ability to or desire to financially support the channel through super chat or through joining the Patreon, you can also hit the like button on this video, and that's a huge help. That is one of the biggest ways that you can help, and it doesn't cost anything. It takes like 2 seconds. So if you appreciate this content, I would highly encourage you to hit that like button, and I would really appreciate it. So Anonymous Boss in the super chat said, "Hey Jeremy, have you studied anything about necromancy? One more thing, as of late I have connected with Beelzebub yesterday. Does the goat head represent Beelzebub? Thank you for your time." Well, I'll quickly address that. I have actually studied and practiced necromantic rites. And I have a couple videos on it. If you go to my channel, I think if you look under the playlist, the popular videos playlist, it's typically one of my more popular videos. And I have 2 videos in that series that introduce you to some of these ideas about necromancy. And so you could check those out if you want to find out more about how I approach it, or how I did, at least at the time that I produced those videos. And Beelzebub, yes, I've met Beelzebub multiple times, and the goat head in particular I did not experience when I had encountered Beelzebub. More, there were a lot of flies, and that's what Beelzebub actually means, is Lord of the Flies. And that certainly was the case when I had my encounters with Beelzebub. So hopefully that answers your question, Anonymous Boss. And without further ado, let's draw a card from the Hermetic Tarot and see what we get. All right, what do we have here? I'm going to reveal it to the camera first. Okay, so what is that? Oh, it was upside down. It was reversed. Oh no. No. Like I said, it doesn't make a difference to me if it's reversed or not. I interpret both regardless. So this was the 5 of Wands. And in the Golden Dawn, which this deck was inspired by, they had titles for every single card in the deck. And this card, the Golden Dawn title for it was Lord of Strife. And I can see where they're coming from with that, because the suit of Wands represents the element of fire. And fire obviously is a very explosive, pardon the pun, element. It's a very volatile and passionate element. And the number 5, at least in the way that I interpret the tarot, the number 5 represents the planet Mars, which of course is the god of war. So you get those two things together, and you have what the Golden Dawn referred to as the Lord of Strife. So the way that I would typically interpret this is I would take into consideration what the query was, or the question asked. In this case, we didn't specifically have a question. We just kind of wanted to see a general, to see what we would get. But typically there would be some sort of specific question or inquiry or situation that you wanted to get more insight into, and you would interpret it in that context. But then I would look at this as the fiery aspect of Mars, and then I would let my intuition tell me what that means in context. And if you have a larger spread, now instead of just one card, you can do multiple cards, say a 3-card spread, where you'd have one card would represent the past, one card would represent the present, and the third card would represent the future. And you would take that placement in the spread into consideration as well. And all these things start to come together, and the cards interact with each other as well. You would say, okay, well, in the past it was this, now it's this, and then what the future holds is that, and we can see patterns forming. And you can allow your intuition to give you some insight via all of those things combining. And in this case, we have the fiery aspect of Mars, the god of war. So did that resonate with anybody? If you are watching this live, then let me know in the chat if that card resonated with your situation, your current situation. If you're watching this as an archive after the fact, then you can leave a comment on this video and let me know what you thought of that. All that fiery stuff, I need to take a drink of water. So now another form of cartomancy, and tarot is one form of cartomancy, and that just means divination via cards. A type of cartomancy that you can do is playing card cartomancy. Now this is a special deck of playing cards that I've actually modified to include those 4 extra court cards. So technically this is a minor arcana tarot deck where there are no tarot trumps, or major arcana cards are excluded. This is just purely a minor arcana deck. Now if I just take out those 4 extra cards that I added, let me actually show you. I'll show you what I did. I added a P card, which represents the princess. So you have the king, the queen, and the jack in a typical playing card deck. And then I added 4 extra court cards, 4 extra P cards for the princess, for one for each of the 4 suits. So let me just set this down here for a sec. So just a standard playing card deck, but let me see if I can find you. Oh no, this isn't the modified one. This is I have it over here somewhere. No, actually this is the modified one. I actually have it written on the front. That was just a regular playing card deck. This one is the minor arcana. They're the same brand of card. But that one was an unmodified one that I was just showing you. And you can do regular playing card cartomancy with that as well. And you do it in a very similar way as you would do with tarot. Aha, okay, so here's one example. I took the two jokers and the two logo cards. They have regular backs on them. In this particular brand of deck, were 4 extra cards that have the same backing on them. 2 jokers and 2 of these type of logo where it says the name of the company that produced the cards and stuff, and I just utilized those and I just modified them. I just added the letter P and the suit. In this case, this one is clubs, the Princess of Clubs, the Princess of Spades, and I have 2 more in here, and I'll just find them for you real quick. Oh, here they are. The Princess of Diamonds and the Princess of Hearts. Now, the way I'll put these back actually, and we'll just look at the unmodified deck. I love cards, by the way. I love cards. And one really unique form of cartomancy that you can do is you can buy any random set of flashcards. Like, for example, my son has a set of flashcards that have famous pieces of artwork on them, like the Mona Lisa, or, you know, those really famous ones, like the girl with the pearl earring and things like that, right? And it has information about that painting, the artist, where it's typically displayed, that sort of thing. And you could just take that and shuffle it and do readings with that. You would have to use your intuition more because there's no instruction manual on how to use it for divination, but that would be a form of cartomancy technically that you could do. So let me tell you about playing card cartomancy real quick. So with playing card cartomancy, you can, if you already know how to do tarot, you can kind of translate it. So the suits are different in a regular playing card deck. The clubs are equivalent to the wands in tarot. So that's the element of fire. The diamonds is equivalent to the pentacles, coins, or discs in a tarot deck, and that would be the element of earth. The suit of hearts is equivalent to the suit of cups in the tarot, which is the element of water. And the final one, which is the other one that I didn't show yet, spades. So the suit of spades in a regular playing card deck is equivalent to the swords in a tarot deck, which represents the element of air. So if you can memorize those correspondences, then you can pick up any regular playing card deck and interpret it in the same way as you would have interpreted a minor arcana, although you won't have those extra court cards unless you modify a deck like I've done. So that's a really easy way. Now there is more traditional ways of doing that, interpreting a playing card deck where there are traditional meanings for each of the different cards, and there are special cards that have special meanings, like the Queen of Spades and the Ace of Spades in particular. Those are cards that have special meaning. Each card has a special meaning in the regular playing card cartomancy, but there are certain cards when they come up, they have an extra kick to them, if you know what I mean. And actually, we're running out of time here because at 11:11, which is in just 1 minute, we are scheduled to start the Money Magic session for members of the Novus Ordo Luciferi. And if you wanted to jump in on that, you can join the Patreon at the $5 tier or above, and you can jump in on that right now, actually. And the second most recent post on there will unlock for you, and it'll have a meeting link in there that'll allow you to join the meeting for tonight. And you can sit in on session 8 or lesson 8 of the Money Magic series of lessons that is currently ongoing. And that's about to start. It's supposed to start right now, but we kind of went on a little bit further. But let me just quickly check here. I see Anonymous Boss sent another super chat. Thank you so much, Anonymous Boss, for that. You went on a walk earlier and your intuition made you look to the left and there was a fly at my door entrance looking at me. Interesting coincidence, right? Yeah. If you're working with Beelzebub and you're noticing flies, then yeah, that would be a pretty cool synchronicity, I would say, for sure. Absolutely. I look at that's actually, you could think of it as a form of augury, which is seeing signs or divinatory meanings in natural phenomenon. You can do cloud augury by looking at the shapes in the cloud and interpreting it. You can look at the movement of different birds. My grandmother, she would do crow augury. So if she saw one or a certain number of crows, that would mean something to her. And that, it's our family name. We had an extra special connection to crows. It's not just a pseudonym, by the way. That's my real name, my real family name, Crow. And on that note, I think that this has been a really interesting, for me, I've had a lot of fun on tonight's live stream, and I think we'll do a follow-up divination part 2, where we can explore some of the other forms of divination that we didn't get a chance to get to tonight. And because we have to jump in, I'm already a couple minutes late starting the Money Magic session. We usually give it a couple minutes anyways to let people file in. But I would like to wrap this up so we can get started on that formal lesson that we had promised the members of the order for tonight. And thank you so much to everybody that showed up for tonight's live stream. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. And everybody that participated in the live chat, thank you so much for making it lively. And anybody who's watching this video as an archive after the fact that you didn't catch live, thank you so much, especially if you made it to the end. Please, if you really like this video, then click the like button. And until next time, everyone, stay lucid.